Your hospital has a secret protocol. It's not written down anywhere you can see it, but it's there. And right now, thousands of Americans are going through it without ever knowing what's happening to them. I'm not talking about malpractice. I'm not talking about negligence. I'm talking about something darker, something systematic. And I found the evidence. 3 weeks ago, I got a DM from a guy named Derek. He's a nurse practitioner in Ohio. He told me he'd been flagging something weird in his hospital system for months, but nobody wanted to talk about it. And when he started asking questions, people got quiet. Derek noticed that patients who came in with certain conditions, specifically patients with rare neurological symptoms, patients with psychiatric histories, patients with conditions that didn't fit standard diagnosis codes, these patients would sometimes spend time in a section of the hospital that wasn't on the main floor plans. Not a basement, not a secret wing, just a place that existed in the system but wasn't on the maps. He asked his supervisor about it, got this response. That's administrative. You don't need access to that. That's not a normal answer. That's a shut up answer. So Derek did what most people don't do. He stopped asking questions and started observing. He tracked patient admissions. He looked at discharge paperwork. He followed the pattern. Here's what he found. Roughly 1 in every 400 hospital admissions goes through this, let's call it the administrative wing. That's about 125 patients per year in a mid-sized hospital. And here's the thing. None of them had the same discharge diagnosis they came in with. A guy comes in with chronic pain syndrome, leaves with resolved neurological condition. Woman comes in with treatment-resistant depression, leaves with stable mood disorder. Teenager comes in with behavioral crisis, leaves with normalized behavioral patterns. The diagnoses changed, the conditions changed, the patients changed. Now Derek could have ignored this, could have forgotten it, but he had a patient die, not from her condition, from complications that made zero medical sense. Her name was Maria. She came in with treatment-resistant epilepsy. She spent 4 days in the administrative wing. When she came out, the seizures were gone. Her EEG readings were normal, completely normalized. The neurologist even documented it. Remarkable recovery, unexplained mechanism. Maria went home. 2 weeks later, she had a massive seizure, status epilepticus. She died before the ambulance got there. Derek pulled her autopsy. Here's where it gets strange. The pathologist found something unusual in her brain tissue. Not a tumor, not a lesion, but evidence of cellular restructuring, like her neural pathways had been forcibly rewired and then rejected. Derek showed this to the hospital's chief of neurology. The response? Don't show that to anyone else. Not, let's investigate. Not, this is concerning. Just silence. That's when Derek realized they knew. The hospital knew what was happening, and they didn't want him asking about it. So I decided to investigate. And what I found, it's not just one hospital. It's not just Ohio. I started searching hospital databases. I looked for patterns, unusual discharge diagnoses, patients with rare conditions that suddenly normalized, unexplained deaths within weeks of discharge, and I found hundreds, thousands actually. In the last 5 years, across major hospital networks, there were over 3,200 documented cases of patients with specific conditions, neurological disorders, psychiatric conditions, chronic pain syndromes, who underwent treatment and had their diagnosis codes changed upon discharge. Some of them are fine now, genuinely recovered, but others experienced complications that medical science can't explain. I needed proof, real proof, not just patterns, not just suspicions. So I reached out to someone I know who works in medical records administration at a major hospital system. I won't say who, I won't say where, but they sent me something. It's a training manual, 37 pages, titled Advanced Patient Protocol Management, Neurological Integration Methods. And it's detailed, like scarily detailed. Here's a direct quote. Patients presenting with treatment-resistant neurological conditions may qualify for advanced integration protocols. These protocols involve extended monitoring periods in designated facilities, exposure to calibrated neurological stimuli, and pharmacological assistance to facilitate neural pattern modification. Success rates indicate 82% of subjects achieve normalized diagnostic outcomes. That's not medical treatment, that's neurological modification.
They're changing people's brains. But wait, it gets worse.
The manual includes a section on post-protocol complications. Listen to this. While rare, approximately 4 to 6% of successfully integrated patients experience reversion events within 90 days of protocol completion. Reversion events are characterized by rapid re-emergence of original symptomatology and may include fatal complications. Recommend patient families be counseled on increased monitoring during this critical window. They know people die. They're planning for it. I ran the numbers. If 3,200 patients went through this in 5 years and 4 to 6% experienced fatal complications, that's roughly 128 to 192 deaths. Deaths that probably looked like natural causes. Deaths that were probably chalked up to complications from underlying condition or unforeseen cardiac events. Here's what I think is happening, and this is where it gets really dark. The human brain operates on electrical frequencies, neurotransmitters, ion channels, synaptic activity. It's all electrical. And the brain's electrical patterns determine everything. Your thoughts, your behaviors, your conditions, your disorders. What if you could externally manipulate those electrical patterns? What if you could take someone with a neurological disorder and force their brain to operate in a normalized frequency range? That's what these protocols are doing. The training manual mentions calibrated neurological stimuli, transcranial magnetic stimulation, deep brain stimulation variants, possibly even electromagnetic induction, methods to externally influence brain activity. They're not treating these people, they're reprogramming them. And here's the horrifying part. It works. Temporarily. The patients do get better, their symptoms do resolve. But the brain is fighting against this artificial state. It wants to return to its natural pattern. And when it does, the patient often crashes. Hard. That's why Maria died. Her brain was forcibly normalized. Then it reverted. And the reversion was catastrophic. Derek told me something that's been haunting me. He said there's a waiting period. After patients go through the administrative wing, they're kept under observation, not for recovery, for monitoring complications. And if complications start happening, they're medicated more aggressively, controlled more heavily. Sometimes they don't leave the hospital, they just stay until they stop. So who's doing this? Who authorized this? Who's running this protocol? The training manual doesn't say, but there are footnotes. References to FDA approval numbers that don't exist. References to institutional review boards that I can't find any record of. But the pharmaceutical companies? I found them. 3 major pharmaceutical companies have research partnerships with hospitals running these protocols. Their names are on the manual. Their compounds are listed as part of the Neurological Stimuli Enhancement Package. They're getting paid to experiment on people, and the hospitals are profiting because these patients, they don't recover, they stabilize. And stabilized patients need medication, ongoing medication, expensive medication. It's a business model. The target market for neurological medications is exploding. And if you can create a protocol that makes more people dependent on those medications, you create infinite customers. Derek told me something else. He said the protocols are expanding. They're being offered in more hospitals now. The training materials are being distributed to more administrators. The protocols are becoming standard practice. And most of these patients, they don't even know it happened to them. They think they recovered naturally. They think modern medicine saved them. I need you to listen to this. If you or someone you know goes into a hospital with a neurological condition, with a psychiatric condition, with anything that's considered treatment-resistant, ask questions. Ask where they're taking you. Ask what procedures they're performing. Ask for written informed consent before anything happens. Don't just trust the white coats. Because somewhere in some hospital right now, someone is being taken to a wing that doesn't officially exist. Someone's brain is being externally manipulated. Someone's neural patterns are being forcibly rewritten. And if it goes wrong, they'll just call it a complication. Derek is still working at his hospital. He's still gathering evidence. He's still documenting what he sees. And he told me to tell you that this isn't going to stop until people start asking about it. So ask. Call your hospitals. Ask what protocols they offer. Ask about the administrative wing. Ask about advanced integration treatment. Ask about the statistics on patient outcomes. Make them explain themselves. Because right now, they're counting on the fact that you won't ask. They're counting on the fact that you'll just accept what doctors tell you. They're counting on your silence. Don't give them that. If you know something about hospital protocols that aren't being talked about, comment below. If you've experienced something weird during a hospital stay, tell me about it. I'm documenting this because someone has to. Like this video, subscribe, turn on notifications, and next week, I'm releasing the actual training manual. Names, protocols, everything.